Good evening, and welcome back for another video with Grey Man's Profits for beginners. Okay, so you're a beginner trader. You've learned a few strategies, maybe what pairs to go into. You've learned a few of the basic patterns of candle structures, and now you're looking to move into the market. But one of the things that you're missing for it is the way that market actually flows. And when I mean that, I mean volume and also liquidity. So let's explain it. The first thing you need to understand and drill this into your mind, you need to either think CMD or AMD all the time when you look at the markets. And all this is C or A stands for consolidation or accumulation, depending on what you feel like calling it. The next one is manipulation. And the last one is D for distribution. Now, what does that look like? Because, of course, words don't have any meaning unless they're explained. Give me one moment. So, let's imagine that this is the point of price at a certain period. And then, of course, maybe through the mark of its own, it has dropped down and out of a demand zone and then into, I guess, an open zone for a new play after liquidity has been wiped out. So, the market will enter what we call consolidation or accumulation, which all it is if you imagine a wave, it's like little waves that fluctuate within a certain boundary. So, these waves will continue to spiral. What you'll do is you'll see that they're not moving anywhere, and it seems pretty boring. You'll see this in the market quite a bit. So, it will level out. Now, if you wanted to, you could scalp in the middle. But what the real players want to do is they draw a box around this. Because all that this indicates here is that the market here is fluctuating so that they can build one, volume, V for volume, and then also L for liquidity. They are building up the amount of potential money that is played out within this immediate new demand zone. So, what happens? So, this would be C/A, where it fluctuates up and down. And what you'll see is if you imagine it like a wave, you have a wave that suddenly comes up and it breaks out of pattern. This is what we would call manipulation. So, the market has been manipulated in one way, which in this way, it has been moved up, meaning that price has risen, and then most likely it could either continue to rise, or more likely, it will reach a certain point and start dipping back down, back into this demand zone. So, if price continues down, let's say, and it fluctuates a little bit lower and comes back into this consolidated new demand zone. Let's draw a line straight through just for reference. Let's say that this is the demand zone, the equilibrium, or the nodes of where each wave is hitting. So now we've had a wave that is slightly different. What this indicates is price usually has an indication to come back into this demand zone where all the volume and liquidity is, and then it will reverse and drop down. So this is called distribution. So with these three concepts, you'll never be confused in the market because this happens on every side. You can go down to the 1 hour movements and look, and if there is a movement there, it follows the same pattern. You can go to the 4 hour for one session, or more likely, if you look at the day chart, then you'll find that the sessions or the firms themselves, Asia, New York, or London, have their own roles. Usually, Asia stands for A in the accumulation. London usually stands for manipulation. So they will start, and whatever Asia has done, they will usually hold the volume. Then London will come in and they will skyrocket in either direction and try and break out the buy side liquidities or the low side liquidities, as we discussed in the last video, which will count for manipulation. And then if they don't distribute themselves and come back down, it can be left to New York. New York is notorious for taking whatever London has done, reversing it back into the demand zone, and then being responsible for distribution out and lowering the price back to something similar that Asia received when it first opened. Now, be very careful. These often don't follow the same patterns. It's not always Asia that accumulates. It's not always London that manipulates. And it's not always New York that distributes. Sometimes they mix it around a little bit. But 9 times out of 10, that's how you'll find it. Okay. Well, if we have any other questions, please just leave a comment or DM me. Otherwise, I hope that now you can understand the AMD or CMD concept. I hope you have a lovely evening. And once again, be the grey man.